6 months after the military began an investigation into the disappearance of Army Sergeant Bouffard Law and his capture by the Taliban, which held him for 5 years, the results remain under wraps as senior Army officials determine what to do next. Criminal defense lawyer and former U.S. Navy JAG Lieutenant Commander Brian Bouffard joining us on the Kogo News Live line. And Brian, do we know anything about these findings yet?
Well, we do, just in extremely recent hours here. If you had asked me this question 4 days ago, I'd be shrugging my shoulders and saying we haven't heard a thing. But today, or perhaps tomorrow, the Army is expected to announce that it has actually forwarded the completed investigation up to the senior leadership. And so I'm thinking we're going to get some kind of resolution on whether or not Sergeant Bouffard faces charges probably in the coming weeks.
In your experience, you were a former U.S. Navy JAG Lieutenant Commander. What does this delay in this very, very quiet investigation tell you?
Well, this is so unusual that I hesitate to draw any real conclusions from it. The investigation that was done here is a fact-finding investigation. It's not a formal criminal investigation. It's the same kind of procedure that they would do if somebody takes the government vehicle out and gets into a fender bender at Walmart, for example. Here it's being applied to what's obviously a very politically charged and extremely serious set of facts involving, a prisoner of war for 5 years. So I'm not surprised that it's taken longer than usual. I am a little surprised that it's taken this long.
So from what I understand, he could either be charged or he could get a whole bunch of back pay.
Well, right. He's earned pay, and he's earned his promotion. For example, he was a PFC in 2009 when he left. He's a sergeant now. Whenever any of our service members are captured by the enemy or in enemy custody, they're still service members. So, yeah, he's entitled to back pay. If he does get prosecuted and convicted, though, he could lose that back pay. So that's probably, some part of the calculus on the part of the government right now.
Any idea, I mean, in your experience, any idea what you think is going to happen with this case? It's a very strange case.
It is very strange, and they say, bad facts make bad law, so it's kind of hard to think they're going to, have any far-reaching, consequences from this as far as the legal side of things. I'm most interested in how they're going to parse out the distinction between unauthorized absence, which is also known as AWOL, which I think he clearly committed, and the issue of whether or not they think they can prove desertion. Desertion in time of war carries an extremely severe potential punishment, so I'm sure that's part of what they're kind of going through right now.
What about the political pressure on this case? I mean, there are a lot of people who stand to lose something just depending on how this investigation plans out. Is the military going to take that into consideration at all, or do you think that they can be apolitical about this?
Well, Donna, I wish I could say that they could be apolitical, but I think that would be naive of me to suggest that. I think politics always play a role, for good or ill, usually for ill, in my opinion. I certainly hope that the decisions regarding this young man's life are made based on the facts and on the evidence, and not on, someone's political bias or desire to CYA. So I think we can probably pretty easily see that the administration, the White House, probably doesn't want to see a prosecution, and if that's the case, I doubt one will occur.
All right, criminal defense lawyer and former U.S. Navy JAG Lieutenant Commander Brian Bouffard, thank you for your insight into this morning.